So MD1, 5th grade, measurement and data, point 1. This standard is focused on converting or changing standard measurement units within a given measurement system. Now, measurement units, those are things like kilometer, unit, centi, milliliter, miles, yards, feet, teaspoons, cups, pints, all of these different ways of measuring something. We need to know how to convert between those units of measurement within a given measurement system. Now, there are two main measurement systems. Metric is very simple. There's not a whole lot to do for metric because it's built on a base 10 system. So if you have 5 units of something, let's say you have 5 meters, for example, how many centimeters do you have? Well, you have 500 centimeters. All you do is multiply it times 100 because centi means 100. A centipede has 100 legs. Well, can you guess how many legs a millipede has? That's right, 1,000. So if you have 5 meters, if you walk 5 meters, you've walked 500 centimeters. And if you if you walked 5 meters, then you've walked 5,000 millimeters. But if you walk 5 meters, you've only walked 0.005 kilometers. That's right, 5,000ths. So how you convert between metric is very, very straightforward and simple. It doesn't take a lot to learn how to convert within the metric system. That's the brilliance of the metric system. Now, when it comes to the other system, there are lots of names for it. I chose to go with the English system. When it comes to distance, feet is something that we use to measure distance in this country. And so I put 1,320 feet as an example because that is exactly 1/4 of 1 mile. Okay? And that many feet, that distance, is 440 yards. There's 3 feet in a yard, so this is 3 times that length. And there are 12 inches in a foot, so this is how many inches there are in this many feet. Now, if you look and compare the two conversion models between these two distances, the metric system has a very straightforward system of conversion that's based on tens. But here, this other system, converting measurement units between inches and feet is different than feet and yards, which is different than yards and miles. And to convert between feet and miles requires you to consider not only the feet to yards, which is by 3, and then yards to miles, which is 1,760, but you would have to multiply this times this in order to change feet into miles. And it starts to get very confusing and time-consuming to do that. So even when you're dealing with something like volume and teaspoons and cups and pints and quarts and gallons, the numbers are not always consistent when converting between them. So on an assessment or on a test, you might be asked in one way or another, typically in word problems, but in this case, very straightforward. 72 inches is how many feet? Well, if you know inches to feet is, there are 12 inches in a foot, then 12 times 6 is going to give you how many inches you need. So there are 6 feet in 72 inches. And the rule here is to divide the inches by 12, and that'll give you how many feet. In 96 ounces, if we know that there are 16 ounces per pound, then in 96 ounces will give us 6 pounds. So the rule for conversion here is dividing by 16. When you look at an example that deals with a metric measurement unit, a measurement unit in the metric system, 300 centimeters is going to be 3 meters because all you're doing is dividing by 100. So, because there's 100 centimeters per meter. So again, you can see how the metric system is a little more straightforward. When it comes to the other system, you do have to memorize a lot of rules for conversion, and that does become a bit time-consuming. Be sure to ask your teacher for either tips on the rules during the assessment, or maybe a card that sort of gives you some hints as to what those specific conversions are. Whether or not you have to memorize every single conversion within the both systems, that's up to your teacher to decide. One last thing, I want to make sure that we're clear. 5th grade measuring and comparing within measurement systems is not the first time that you've seen different measurement systems. The metric in the English system was introduced in 4th grade, and in 3rd grade you were measuring and estimating liquid volumes and solid masses with liters and grams. And even 2nd grade you were measuring with a ruler to the I think the nearest inch. So it's important to know that this is not the first time you've seen it, and you will most likely see it again, not just in school, but in many, many jobs across the country. So that's 5.MD1.